today I wanted to leave you with an energy update because, again, so much is happening in the energetic background. And it's quite interesting because it feels like the extremes are really potent. Like it feels like even more of that roller coaster, that quantum roller coaster where we're being in one area, in one space of our field, and maybe you find yourself that there's a few days or a couple of moments that you have that are really, really powerful. They're so clear, they're so neat, they're just you, it's just you, it's just purely you expressing and living and creating, and things are going and things are happening, and in a completely new way. It's as if like you're feeling those realities, those energies, those expressions that you always dreamt of, but all of a sudden it's like you and the dream are one. And then there's just this other extreme where all of a sudden it's like this, this kind of this clash, or literally like just collapsing. In today's theme, there's two things that are very important to highlight. The very first one is that now we're in a time where we are to recalibrate our inner lens. And that's what I'm going to dive into today. How is it? What does that mean? How is it that we need to recalibrate our inner lens? And the second of all is that the light of awareness is our torch. Awareness is our light torch right now. So let's begin. We're in a time of extremes, right? It's really strong extremes, and we see it in the collective as well. But also, it feels like for you, you are stepping into, you have one foot in one world and the other foot in the other world, because you see the two timelines, okay? And that is where it can be a little bit of a clash, because in reality, we are not just seeing in a way that we're bypassing the world, we're bypassing the reality where everything is positive, positive, positive. We are in a time of change. The rebirth is coming. We are, really filtering out the BS. We're filtering out the darkness, and we're headed towards that right direction, that nice direction. And you're not also in that area where you're in this in the taken away by the negative realities and the things that actually want you to despair and want you to lose hope. But the thing is that is interesting is that these are the two extremes that are happening. Because you hold those two, one foot here and one foot there, what is going on is that you're able to experience both. But what I want you to remember today, and that's why I'm saying awareness is your light torch right now, is that when you are experiencing those darker realities, when you are being lost, or you're succumbing, or you're surrendering, or you're overwhelmed by the chaos, by the confusion, by the really funny, weird scenarios and things that are going on on the outside, but also that could be manifesting and playing out in your reality, where you're like, what's going on? Why is this thing not working? Why is this not moving? I'm doing the best I can. And it literally feels like this curse right now. And I'm going to break it down why it actually feels like a curse. But what happens, I want you to remember that when you're in those states, remember to take on your light torch, which is awareness. To remember that in those moments, do not forget who you are. Do not forget your light. Do remember maybe in that moment, oh, okay, interesting. So now I'm playing in that world, or maybe now I am in that dimension. I am now in that existence. I am now connecting maybe to that collective energy. I am now in that version of myself that is needing to reprogram. I am in that, just to have that. That is why awareness is everything for me, and I feel like literally this is our guiding force. This is our North Star. All it takes is awareness, because awareness is that divine grace, is literally the grace of God that just comes in like a whisper. And the thing is, that's what you want to know about awareness. Awareness is not something that shouts, it's not something that just comes in with that clarity of the sun. Sometimes it does, where I feel like what I call are those miraculous moments, which are, I call the spiritual interventions. So they're interventions from higher forces, higher divine intelligence, or your spirit that comes in because maybe it was required for you to have that intervention. And sometimes those interventions do not come in the way that, like, it's like imagining an angel showing up to you and saying, "Ah, la la la, let's take you out of whatever feeling," or "Let me give you the zero to A to Z, all the blueprint that you need to change your life." Not really. Sometimes it comes through accidents or things that happen or very shocking realities that you did not know you wanted, but it's just really to shift you out of that limited frame that you've put on yourself, that you've identified yourself with, that limited perspective, and it's asking you to shift your perspective completely and open you up. These are sometimes spiritual interventions that we do not see them as, because we believe that they're negative in emotionality. Because they're negative in emotionality, then they cannot be actually intervention that are getting us to shift course, that are getting us to correct our timeline. But actually they are. And here I am again going multidimensional and lost my chain of thought originally. And I'm recollecting now that thought that went away, which is about, what was I saying? I was literally transmitting. Right, it's back. So the light of awareness. Awareness is literally something that is very subtle sometimes. It's very subtle, especially in the beginning, especially in 2 case scenarios. First, the more that you're devoting yourself to awareness, the more you're starting to trust yourself more, the more you're starting to read and translate consciousness, the more that you're understanding how it looks like, how the map of unawareness versus awareness looks like, program versus present sovereign choices look like, chaos versus, new, choosing a new reality, which is more peaceful. All these different blueprints, you're going to start getting more and more accustomed to. And the more that you're in it, the more that the awareness might become more heightened. So it's not as subtle, but it is subtle in nature. It's literally like that divine grace, that you're in a space of despair and that butterfly that comes through and flies in front of you. And then you have, it's literally like this. It's an it's literally like a light, the light torch. Everything is dark and you're in a dark tunnel, and then you see just a small light coming through, reminding you. So I want you to remember this, that awareness is your key to navigating this split of dimension, or when you find yourself you're tilting, or you spilled yourself, or you fell into that darker density reality. And it's asking you to bring that awareness, the light of awareness of who you are, to be able to navigate a bit more. And remember that, okay, so this is what's happening right now. When I'm in that space, it's required of me to bring forward a new tool. Okay, so I am learning to break down, to translate what I'm going through a bit more. That's why if you're needing support translating a specific reality that you're going through, a specific pattern, a specific platform or template that you feel that you're not able to unweave or untangle, reach out to me for a one-on-one, and you can check it on the website, and we can do some of that translating consciousness in that specific area, that specific reality that you're going through. The activation that is being asked of us right now is more and more to recognize and claim and own our light, who you are, what your heart wants, what is it you want to see in the world around you, to keep that focus. And that is where actually is going back to what the theme that I was talking about, that it's about recalibrating your inner lens. That is it. The moment that you recalibrate your inner lens on what you are focusing on, you are recalibrating. The lens is actually, if you want to see, okay, let's go into the pineal gland, or even it goes into 2 different forms into two different threads. There's a thread of vision. So your focus, your vision, what is it you want? What would you like to see? And I spoke a lot about this in my latest videos that I'm going to tag as well. But what is it you want? What is it you want to see in the world? What is it you want to see in your life? Get very clear on that and just keep recalibrating that inner vision. Because what's happening is that if you've been used, let's say that what goes on, right, holographically, is that you are seeing, right? You're looking at things and you are registering. So it's codes, right? You are registering. So if your entire life, which we see it, like that's what I'm saying right now, we're seeing the chaos. Yeah, it's chaotic, but aren't we used to it? Most probably you're born in this, you're right now alive, you've witnessed enough chaos in your life. I'm 100% sure of that. So you've witnessed already chaos, and you've witnessed things going all the way upside, like things functioning in a very weird way, and you've always felt it. So that's all you've been registered with. And now what is asked of you is to push, recalibrate yourself, not wait for the recalibration to happen in your outer experience, but instead for you to recalibrate your own inner lens, your own inner vision, and push it out, emit it out from within you. Emit it out from within you, recode it from within you. Because then what happens is that what you witness, what you are emitting out, what you are encoding yourself with, what you're recalibrating as your own lens. You know what? Yes, it's chaotic, but what I want is this. What I want is light. What I want is this. When you start recalibrating this code within you, then it will become stronger than what you are seeing. It will be bigger. But we've been so used to playing small. We've been so used to not believing in our own power that you alone can change the world as you know it. You alone can change what you see around you. That is impossible. How can you do that? You can't do that. Who are you to do that? You're not this Holy Mary, and you're not this holy saint that you're supposed to be. Oh, you're just you. Oh, come on. You're this naughty child that, in your childhood you were doing these things, and this, lost teenager. Oh, you're holy. Oh, come on. Just bringing some humor here. But literally, it's like, so the moment that you recalibrate, you believe in your power, that you have this power. You have it. And the second thread, so that's the vision. The second thread is your perception. And that requires what I was talking about, that expansion. And it's quite linked to you recalibrating your lens, your vision. Because the moment, they kind of go hand in hand. Which one comes first? Both. Because the moment that you actually start getting clear on what you want, it will allow you to start receiving new perspectives about things. It will allow you to expand your mind, like literally like a curious scientist. I always say that. It's like a curious engineer. When you see it with yourself, it's like, oh, okay. So when that happens and I get triggered in that way, it actually gets me to think like this and go into that pattern. But what is it I want? I don't want this. I don't want to tolerate this reality. This is not what I want to experience. I want to experience this. Do I have the power to change it? Yes, because I believe in myself and I am worthy. I know I have the power. Okay, great. Now what do? Now I am able to receive different perspectives. And when you're able to receive different perspectives, you are able to tune into a new possibility, a new timeline that you did not know was there. You did not know was existing. Okay, so that is the way for you to completely recalibrate your inner lens. Be clear on your vision and also open up to new perspectives, to new timelines, new possibilities, and claim that, put it in your field around you. Why it's challenging? Because most of the time, if you are in that, when you want to quantum jump, when you want to step into a new timeline, the people that are around you are most of probably, we say, okay, they're a reflection of where you're at. Yes and no, not always, okay? And that's something I usually go into my videos if you've been there for a while. That's not the point right now. But let's say you've been there because you tolerated them. So it's not necessarily that it's a reflection of who you are. It's a reflection of what you tolerating, what you're saying yes to. So most of the time, the people around you, the realities, experiences, this is what you are okay with. On some level, unconsciously, you're saying, okay, I'm okay with. Now, when you want a quantum jump, when you want a timeline shift, when you want to shift from that to this, it's going to require you to believe, but more than believe, to know that there is something out there that exists that is not part of your present reality, because you cannot see it because of your inner lens. You cannot perceive it. You cannot perceive it. Okay, because you're in that limited mindset in that moment. But you know that there's something that exists that is different from the one that what you're experiencing right now. And because those things around you are just operating from the frame that you've been tolerating, from that template that you've been standing on, then they're most probably are only going to encode and hard code, okay, what you are trying to actually, what you're trying to change. And I'm going to give an example. It's like kind of what, you've been around specific people that have not made that change themselves. They have not stepped into something new. Okay? So what's going to happen is that they might give back to you a feedback, and I'm not saying feedback like as a comment, but energetic feedback that is only hard coding the older or the thing that you're wanting to change. They're not really getting you to step into new change until you actually say that you are ready for that change. And you might start witnessing and experiencing new timelines, new people, new things around you. They are coming in kind of like a window, and saying, hello, I'm here. And there's something new. There's something that you've been calling in for. Let me show you. And that's what I want you also to be mindful of, is that out of fear, you're not blocking those opportunities, or you're not being suspicious about it because of how much actually you want to hold on to the old and you don't want to actually change. And I'm going to actually say one more thing that's been really sitting very present in this reality, that I've been witnessing it. And I've been speaking also about it for a while on my channel, is that idea of specific pioneers, or let's say spiritual teachers out there, they are constantly fortifying the idea and spreading the idea and just weaving the threads and attaching that same thread to their audience, to their people, to their clients, whatever, is that this world, which I've been breaking down and saying that you have the power to create for yourself, is something out there, right? That 5D, this fifth dimensional world, we're there, it's coming, okay? And it's coming, ascension is coming. We haven't ascended, we're gonna ascend, and we're gonna step. And everybody, like unconsciously, is like, I'm telling you about an event that's gonna happen, and you're just sitting there and like, we're excited like those little children, and we're like, yay, when is this gonna come? I'm waiting for it. And then it doesn't come. But I'm waiting for it. And then you keep your people, the people on this, I'm seeing kind of that thread, or like, I don't know if it's a carrot, but you're kind of keeping everybody just, it's gonna come, and it's gonna change, and we've been waiting. And I feel like I just want to burst that bubble. Literally, I just want to burst that bubble and say that you are the change. So stop waiting for that imaginary event on the outside that's going to happen. And know that ascension, 5D, whatever those things you want to call, those events are within you. They're within you. And it's, again, quantum. Has it happened? Is it going to happen? Did it happen? Are you happening? It's within you, and you hold that key. You literally hold that key. You hold that torch of light to use it to guide you and navigate you on that path, especially when you get lost or when there's something going on that is maybe failing you or hazing you, and you have that power to be directed onto those new situations, those new experiences, and to claim that new reality that you want for yourself. I want to speak into something else, because what is actually I'm noticing right now is that a lot of way showers, light workers, a lot of people on this path, right now, what is actually going on is that there's a heightening of quote unquote spiritual attacks, or what feels like there's an infiltration happening in our field. And now I want to say that I'm doing a video specifically talking about these things because there's a lot of misunderstanding of what it actually goes on in those realities, what actually goes on to be able to navigate these things, because it's nothing to fear. And what I want to say is that in that space, again, the light of awareness is your torch. And it's about shifting your inner lens. In what sense? There is nothing that is stronger than you. Nothing. You are as strong as all the dreams that you have, all the light that you could possibly imagine, all the light that you imagine for yourself. You are as equal to that light. And you are stronger than any sort of dark entities, challenges, whatever curses, whatever it is. You are stronger than all of them. Although I understand that they can be debilitating, they can be paralyzing, and sometimes they can be so present that they can be overwhelming to our own psyche to be able to navigate. And that is why if you need support in that area, you can also reach out to me for a quantum energy work to be able to do that holographic surgery in that sense. But I want to go back to that point that right now what energetically is happening is that what you're noticing yourself as you're going from one dimension to another, when you're feeling yourself going into those extremes, those polarities, when you're in that one polarity and then the second polarity, is that the swap and the shift is so big, because when you're in that polarity of completely harnessing this new expression of light, literally as if you are the way that you want to see it, as if like literally you are stretching your light, or you're stretching your capacity to experience light. You are stretching your capacity to experience brighter existences, to experience brighter realities. The dream, right? What I was saying, the dream and you are becoming closer and closer to each other. It's like you're becoming one and one more with it. It's always been there, but it's kind of expanding, stretching our field, stretching our life, stretching our mind, stretching our heart to receive it, stretching to allow it to be present in us, especially if all we've been conditioned to feel, all we've been experiencing is how small we are, how far away from divinity we are, because God is that, I don't know, this person that is living on the throne and is sitting on a throne and is only supposed to look like this and be like this, and we are not as holy as these beings that are supposed to be perfect. And we've already put that seed, we've already come with that seed that we are not worthy, we are not divine, we do not hold that divine spark within us, we do not hold the light. And constantly being in that self-worth, questioning our self-worth, questioning if we are worthy enough to own and claim that light of ours. And so when you're navigating those two realities, that is what's going on. Where I'm noticing is that in the spiritual, in the energetic field, is that there is a little bit of that, either that you're able to all of a sudden witness deeper entities or attachments or darker forces that have been in your field for quite some time, those shadows. Okay, so there's a shadow work and shadow revelation, and behind the shadow there's usually those entities, those attachments that are coming in. So all of a sudden you're able to be more aware of those things from one dimension, one lens, that maybe could have been older in you. Or it could be that all of a sudden you are able to sense much quicker the shift and the infiltration that are happening in your energy field much quicker. So you're sensing, because especially that you're able to expand into those states of bright awareness, and all of a sudden you're able to feel much quicker when there's a distortion in your field. The way that I want you also to feel it is in another sense. It could be like, when you've worked so hard on yourself to get to know yourself, to get to understand yourself, to maybe start feeling safe in your body, starting to feel at peace. You already have done the work to weave and paint and create and model a new template for yourself, a new pattern, a new version of yourself, a better human being that you are, that you've never experienced before. And you know how long it's taken you. So the moment that you experience this and you have a shift, something happens that just have come back to your reality that is destabilizing. You will sense it because you have worked so hard on yourself to find that stability in that area and that expression of yourself. So now you're able to pick it up, you're able to sense it. So that is a little bit of that idea, that visual, that symbolism or that expression that you could be feeling it. And that's where actually those, those quote unquote attacks or those infiltrations are happening. But that is where I want to say that, again, as I was saying earlier, is that they do not hold the power. You do. They want to make you believe that you have no power, right? But you do have the power. And that is where actually this is it's a massive mastery. It's a massive initiation that actually we're embarking on, because these are all new territories we're going through. So these are all new tools that are coming up, and you are gaining those new tools. And so just to bring all those two things together, same thing, when you are feeling that psychic attack, spiritual attack, you are feeling that infiltration. And the way that you want to see it is as if it's like, your own blueprint. You have your own blueprint, your own codes that are like pieces of the puzzle. Okay, they're your own codes. So they blend, merge, fit in with you. And then all of a sudden, as if you feel like a new code came in and you're like, where did that come from, right? Where did that come from? It feels like it's kind of a virus inside your system. So you want to, kind of the same thing when you get sick with a flu, or physically your body does the best it can to kind of, push it out. It's kind of the same thing with your own energy field. So then that's why there could be, just like when you're dealing with the flu, there could be this intense physical pains for a little bit. Same with the energetic space. So you might feel like energetically there's this intense state for a while, for a little bit, as you're purging it out of your system. What those dark forces are doing, or the spiritual attack, is actually it's an infiltrating code in the hologram. And what they're trying to do is to take you off course from your devotion to consciousness and your devotion to God. And it's quite a little bit scary in specific dimensions or specific people, specific areas, because they're really being taken. Because what usually also occurs, or something like that wants to do, is that it can also be it's kind of a manipulation in sense, or a brainwashing that can actually happen, that will completely pull you out of your original course, and it will pull you out of being devoted to this path, being devoted to consciousness, being devoted to God, and the real sense of God, not like an imagination or a distorted vision of what God is, but the true meaning. And it wants to pull you out, and kind of that distraction, right? Distract you, to pull you out. And it's only why? Because there's this, and I spoke about this in my latest video, and I said we don't need a savior, because what I'm realizing is there's this infiltration of the savior code in the hologram, where because people are looking for a savior, and they're looking for that event, they're looking for that thing that is out there that's going to completely do something to move us out. And it's very important to be mindful of that infiltrated savior code that is trying to get us out of our own light, that is trying to get us out of the real divine blueprint and plug us into another trap, literally another story, another thing, and just coming back into sovereignty of self and direct connection between ourselves and divinity. We are our own spark of divinity. Anything that is stopping us from cracking open our own divine essence inside, living, owning, claiming who we are, and by claiming that, being that light of awareness, being that torch of light for ourselves and others to create the new world that we want to see manifest in our world, is a distraction. How are you experiencing this recalibration? How are you experiencing this polarity and this shift from one space to another? How are you maybe experiencing those different shifts of energies due to, whatever it is, like dark entities or things like that that you may be experiencing? Please don't forget also, if you liked this message, please like it, share it, and subscribe, because that will really support my channel and it will really get that message further to more and more people.